Hey, what's up, Reefers? If you're watching this right now, I am most likely in New York, taking Emily and her family and friend around to show her what USA has to offer. USA, 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 USA. Recently, I found out why the 45-gallon tank was struggling. I thought it was the elk swing, I thought it was the temperature, but there may be a different culprit. This information is thanks to Nano.Reef on Instagram. His name is Jack, thank you so much. Apparently, air dusters is extremely bad for your aquarium. In fact, consider this toxic. I thought this is compressed air, but basically what here is a moisture-free compressed gas duster, and I'm stupid. I think this is probably common sense for a lot of you guys, but I thought just regular air is harmless. As you know, my Radiant Gen 3 has been making noise on and off, so I think I did this like 2 or 3 times. Like once in a while when I hear this voice, like you hear right now, the fan is basically really dirty and I want to clean it. Now, being the lazy reefer that I am, I just stick this compressed air can and just that right over the tank. So what I learned is that this can of quote-unquote air is actually mixed of different kind of chemicals inside, liquid chemicals, and people are not even supposed to ingest it, of course. And the worst thing is that I even shake the bottle, which I'm not supposed to do, because if you shake the bottle, some of the liquid may actually come out. You're not supposed to shake the bottle, even when you're using it normally. I don't read direction, I don't follow direction well. I freaking shake the bottle, make sure it's done, point at it, spray it, and crap falls into the tank. I am really fortunate that my tank did not crash. I did notice, like, every time I clean, I was like, wait a minute, like some of the corals don't look too happy. I thought it's just coincident. I started looking at different places until one day I came across Nano.Reef Jack's Instagram post saying that if you use air duster, not all of them, but most of them, you run the risk of crashing a tank due to the chemical that's being used. So this all makes sense now. So again, if you are using something like this over your reef tank, don't do it. Don't be like me. With that said, let's go on to our regular update. Hey, what's up, Reefers? Every time before a trip, I like to do a tank update on a 45-gallon just so that I can kind of track what has been going on. So I'm about to head to Cozumel. Actually, by the time you see this, I've been back from Mexico and it's actually in New York right now. I should be in New York for, I think, 1.5 more days, so hi from New York. But I think the biggest update is actually this soft core right here, and I realized that I have not talked about this yet because this happened 2 weeks ago by the time you're watching this. I picked up that nice large soft coral, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later. I actually have a whole vlog about it. It was from my Reef Club meeting. It was a fantastic story. But looking down here, we'll see that the clam, this is the $50 Petco clam. It is doing fantastic, really nice mantle extension, and everything is looking really healthy and nice. I'm really happy with it as well. The squamosa clam continues to do well. It has not really grown, at least not that I can really see, but it is happy. That's what's important. And coming over here, this is actually new right here. I decided that I wanted a little bit more space to start growing a little bit more things on within the tank. So I want to build something similar to this. This is my Zoa garden. I want to start a acan garden right here, if possible. So acan is once again doing well in my tank. I went through a period of time where acan just perished in my tank, but looks like it's doing well. And also look at the zoas. Those, I believe, is the Sun Dancer. Really cool. And on the left side is the pink mushroom that I picked up from the Lancaster frag swap pretty recently, and it is slowly growing, so that is good. Now the zinnia has been pulsing on and off. Right now it's kind of off, so I'm still kind of trying to figure out what is going on with these guys. But the fact that it's pulsing again is good news. Same thing with the leather right here. It has been doing beautifully with good polyp extension. One thing that is not doing well is this Gonipora. So this Gonipora actually went into the 10-gallon tank for about 2 weeks. It was doing decent, so I figured I'd bring it back down here. But once again, it is just not happy at all. So it may have been due to the air duster incident, but I mean, it's not really recovering. So I don't know, man. Kind of gutted, but I'll do what I can. But one thing that is kind of recovering is the Space Invader Pectania in the back right here. But you see that the base is all receded, but it is what it is. The important part is the healthy part is once again really puffy and inflated looking, and it is healthy. So I think there's enough good tissue left to make a nice recovery. since we're back over here, I think one cool thing to talk about is actually this right here. This is the forest fire digitata that has been doing terribly for me for the longest time, but recently started coloring up again. Look at the green coming in. The polyps are still really small. I am guessing maybe it's too bright. I feel like the color started coming back once I moved it down. It was a lot higher before, so I figure maybe it has something to do with the light. But it seems to be had right now. It's actually growing onto the glass, so I'm just gonna leave it right there. Gorgonians. This is the Grubs Gorgonian, and that was actually a smaller chunk of it, and it is starting to grow fast. It's becoming pretty tall. It was actually behind a rock before, or lower than the rock before, but it has since grown. The main colony was actually here. This is the rest of the Grubs Gorgonian, and as you can see, the bottom chunks right here is what I put in, and these top part are new growth, and you notice the difference in the growth pattern. And speaking of grubs, look at that on the frac rack. It's actually growing off the glass. I guess I got a small piece there, or a small piece found its way there and started growing off the glass. So it's kind of crazy. Same thing with the Setosa that's going onto the glass. And look at that pink Mandipora digitata. It is growing onto the rack. So it's really interesting. Same thing with the GSP. So I'm planning to move some of the GSP at least onto the main rock, probably like around the edges right here and behind the anemones, as well as to the 10-gallon tank upstairs. So we'll see how it goes. And you also notice that there's a piece of green Mandipora cap in the back that came from telegrams, and I think he got it from Taylor. So these are all my local reefing buddies, and that piece of green Mandipora cap actually used to come from the Baltimore National Aquarium. So that piece got some historical values on there. So I mounted it onto a ceramic magnet that is attached to a K&J magnet on the inside or the other side. So they are totally movable until they grow onto the overflow. All right, guys, that's just a really quick look, and I just kind of almost like a what do you call those? Time capsule, sort of. Well, not really. More like a journal entry of how the tank looks before the Cozumel, Mexico trip. And I'm really excited to see, like, within a week and a half how it will change, because the less I touch the tank, the better it seems to grow. All right, guys. With that said, I will see you guys next Sunday. So the clam is still trying to get situated. But one interesting thing is